Warning, this is not a video about solving parabolas. It's going to hit you eventually. You are going to end up in Algebra 1, 2, trigonometry or calculus if you haven't already, and you are going to run into parabolas. And if you are like many folks, you don't want to, all right? And parabolas, those are those U shapes. So they can be sideways, they can be upside down, right side up. And today we are not going to get into formulas for parabolas. We are not going to talk about usages really either. We are going to discuss ways for associating with parabolas that don't make us so uncomfortable. So if you are a Spanish speaker, you've probably seen this word before outside of a mathematic context. You've seen parabola. Where have I seen parabola? Where have I seen parabola? In Spanish language, parabola means parable. If you're an English speaker, you've probably seen this word before, a parable, right? A story that informs us about something else. Sort of like a fable, you know, you're telling one story, but there's an underlying meaning there. All right, in Spanish too, parabola is also used in the mathematics sense. So parabola in Spanish can still be that math related shape that makes us cringe. Yeah, that math related shape that makes us cringe. So both usages are used in Spanish, but I want to focus on the parable. Okay, so let's roll with that. Let's roll with the parable. All right. And what is a parable? A parable is a short story with figurative symbols attached to literal meanings. So basically, it's more or less a metaphor. And parables are fables, except for parables use people, fables use animals. Parables are used to reference the stories told by Jesus in the Bible. I'm not here to convert anybody. I myself I'm not a religious person, but I believe in using whatever information I have to help people learn. And so take whatever it is you can get from this and run with it. Short story with figurative symbols attached to literal meanings, the same way they are in fables and other forms of metaphors. And so you might be thinking, well, what does that have to do with a parabola? Well, let me show you. Okay. Where's purple? Here you go. Here's purple. Here we have our parabola here. Okay. Okay. This arc is a reflection of this arc. Yes? Yes? Yeah? Okay. And what do we call this dot here? We call this tangent. Have you seen this word used outside of math? You probably have. Maybe you haven't, you don't realize it. People may say, oh, well, this is tangentially related to. Tangent. Okay. And so if I have my parabola here, and I'm going to liken this to a parable, well, I'll have my figurative meaning, and I'll have my literal meaning, and they're both connected here. I might start telling, let's say, if you are familiar with the parable of the sower, and if you are an Octavia Butler fan, you may also be familiar with the parable of the sower. If you don't know, you better find out. I'm going to use a man because going off PC will require me to say he or she a whole lot, and I don't feel like doing that. Okay, let's just use a man, please. So man goes out to sow some seeds, and sow means to plant. All right, and he drops some seeds on a rocky surface. Well, he ends up with a bad crop or no crop at all, because this rocky surface doesn't provide enough sustenance for the seed. Water escapes between the rocks, doesn't really hold well, because the surface is uneven. The sun doesn't hit things the way that the sun should. All right, and so he also drops some seed on, it's an okay surface. It's not the best, but there's some fertile soil there, but there are some, he drops the seed, there's some fertile soil, there's some rocks, but there are also some weeds there, and thorny bushes. Well, he gets no crop because the thorny bushes suck the life out of the soil. Whatever nutrients are in the soil, the thorny bushes suck it out, and the seeds sprout a bit, but then the thorny bushes overtake the crop. All right. So crop killed by thorny bushes. And yes, I did capitalize that preposition. Leave me alone. All right. So he also gets to some fertile soil. There are no thorny bushes there, no odd weeds, no plantain weed, which is really healing, but he's not there for healing planting weed. He's there because he wants oats or corn or okra. He wants something else. He don't want plantain weed, right? He has this nice firm soil, or nice and healthy. Might be a little pebble, pebble 2 or 3, few pebbles, not many. And from here, he gets, after he drops the seed, he gets some nice crops. This is abstract art. Don't make fun of me. All right, nice healthy crops, because he planted his seeds in healthy soil. So he got the best crop by using healthy soil. Healthy crops come from healthy soil. Can you read that? The light is hitting it real strange. All right, healthy crops come from healthy soil. I'm trying to take advantage of the natural light while I can. It's hitting the board most strangely. Okay. And so we have this figurative meaning here. Have our parable, and we have, what is it? or I shouldn't say figurative meaning, I should say figurative symbols. We have, what is it, seeds, surfaces, outcomes. Well, literally, what we are saying is, if you want good outcomes, you have to put your efforts into places that are conducive to growth. Okay? It'll be difficult to experience the kind of growth that you need to experience if you are not in environments that will help you produce good results. This is general. And for you Bible folks, don't come and tell me that's not exactly what it means. Generally, it's what it means. So let's just roll with that so that we can all access this. Okay? And so tangent here is where these two things connect. If you ever hear anybody say, oh, well, that's tangentially related, they might be saying it's barely related, but there's a node, there is a point at which the figurative and literal meanings of things converge, and you get a similar understanding of a thing. And thus it's the same with a parabola, the math kind, not the language kind, okay? You get this arc here, which is a reflection of this arc here, and they meet here. Okay, this is the rallying point for both of those. Well, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to ask me some questions. That's it for the day. Have a good one. Go on to math class and do your best now. Bye-bye.